Welcome! E aí, galera, beleza? Bem-vindo à nossa comunidade.
Welcome to our community.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is OGC here. Welcome to today's video. Today's video, super excited. We actually get to meet up with Toby. Before I forget, though, Alejandro, I told you I'd give you a shout out at the start of the video. I finally remembered. Alejandro, thank you very much. And then for the people that have been private messaging on Discord asking what the best race is it Rockin' or is it Dwarf? Well, we'll get some helpful advice from our friend Toby. So without further ado, Mr. Toby, welcome back.
Mr. OG, thanks for having me for like the third or fourth. I'm very flattered. Thank you very much.
And anytime, as much as I can talk to you, the better, because every single time I learn something that just changes my entire perspective on the game. But the most common question I'm getting right now is, what is the best race? What race is viable? Why am I Lich instead of human? Why are you Dwarf instead of human? Can you help break this down for people on why the game has evolved to the point that it's at right now?
Oof. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain the way the meta is shaping the way it is and why. And I might take some time to explain all of this, but so bear with me. Right now, I believe the strongest race is Sylph, believe it or not. Even though I'm not playing Sylph, I will explain why. So let's first explain why human is not valid anymore, and why I am not playing human anymore. Any cluster-based race is no longer valid. It's obsolete, and the reason of this, as everyone knows, is the true Ruby shard. It's just too much for any cluster-based race. So having that being said, you still can win as a humans or Rakan, or even I'm gonna include Lich, but I'm gonna explain a little bit more about Lich. But it still is gonna be an uphill battle, and you will have to be way stronger than the opponent to be able to win as humans or Rakans. So having that being said, if enemy have true Ruby, you most likely you're not gonna win. So Rakans and humans are obsolete right. So what do we have? We have the Lich. The Lich, why is it still valid or still being able to play? Even though I'm beating like way higher core Lich than me, and in my opinion, Lich is still not top tier anymore. But the reason it's still on the third place is because the Warlocks, the range unit, do magic damage. It's a unique thing for the, and why this is dangerous or critical, because of the Ophidia skill Pagan Curse. This increases the magic damage, and with the Warlock being their auto damages magic, you can drop dragons a lot, and there are ways around this. I've been the reason I'm being able to beat Lich, because I'm having ways around this with the Noble Blood, the Primal Will, or what is it called? Primal Will? I think Primal Will. The regeneration on the dragon, and then combining the Dragon Prism that gives him like what you call it, the mage set for the dragon, and then combining the Stone of Origin and all of this combo that I've explained before. You can out survive the Warlocks by that time with the Nora through Ruby. You will over the Lich. So the Lich is not top tier anymore because it's a cluster base, right? So what do we have now? We have the Dwarf and the Sylph. Dwarf and Sylph are very interesting, because if you all right, before I explain the formation, why the formation are very similar for Dwarf and Lich, I think by now we all established that breaching a side is the best way to win. This, most of people know this already. So what is the best way to breach a side? Is to put all your strong units right in one side, and the strongest units are heroes. You can see one hero can take 2 packs of any, or examples like this. So your strongest units are your heroes. So that's why Sylph and Dwarf line their power side is all heroes. because these are the strongest units you have. And then combining the dragon pathing to go to that side and all of this with the turtle blocking and all of this, most of people know what I'm talking about. And so what the difference between Sylph, Dwarf, that the unit size of you are able to sneak in deers or you're able to sneak in dwarf, I mean snipers. And snipers bring that extra edge because it's a perfect size to line them with the heroes. And now what happens if you face Sylph? Power side to power side as dwarf against Sylph, you have a chance to win because they have deers, you have snipers. So it's all gonna come down to how strong your heroes, research, the level of artifacts, and the skill. Or this is all gonna come down to this because it's gonna be so messy, like strong side against strong side. Now, why I say the Sylph is the strongest, because if you hit the stall side of Sylph, most likely you're gonna lose. But if the Sylph hit your stall side, most likely they're gonna breach it. So it's like I started to call it the yin yang of them. Like it's like a dance. Always, if you catch the right side, you have a chance to win. If you catch the wrong side, most likely you're gonna lose. As a dwarf, I'm talking as a dwarf because I'm playing dwarf. But based on the battle that I've been playing, I've been progressing a lot in the tower. I've been facing a lot of strong players. I reached the top 40, top 50, 60. You know, I'm jumping back and forth, and I can tell you, Sylph is the strongest race. End of story. And if you play it right, if you know what you are doing, if you do the dance, you know, and even if you hit power side against power side, Sylph have a chance to win. It's not like they don't have a chance because, as I explained, so the odds that Sylph have higher win rate than dwarf. So I hope this answers why the meta the way it is, and I hope it makes sense.
And absolutely. Thank you for the explanation. And just to elaborate on a couple points, when Toby's talking about cluster races, uh, it is any group or any race that has low HP in high quantity front lines, and I suppose back lines as well, but specifically for the front lines. So like skeletons for lich, monks swords for rock, and swords for humans or spears. Um, but that makes a lot of sense for the switch. The next question I have is when it comes to the dragons. So I'm seeing more and more Azul dragons. Um, I get the external void from the Onyx dragon being a very big benefit for cluster races. So is the switch to Azul to make those the mechs and trees more tanky? Because there's going to be less external voids anyways, or is it just to keep the dragon alive?
It's a very nice question, this one, because as we switching the meta from cluster based to like not non-cluster based race, the Onyx is not as impactful. It is impactful, still is, but and I still believe the Onyx is the top tier dragon, even though I don't have one. I have one, but it's like level 20, so it's gonna take a while to get it up there. Because I cannot release any of my dragons. I've made a perfect dragon of each color. I'm happy to say that.
Oh my
It's like
god.
I'm having a collection now. Yeah, I'm having a collection. You can view them like it's a perfect dragon of each color. Three of them divine, three of them legendary. So with time, I don't think I don't need any dragmas anymore. I just need to infuse and all of that. So yeah, right now, in my opinion, the strongest is the because of the crazy tankiness the dragon has. Like I'm so happy when I play if somebody tags my dragon. Like go ahead, please. You know, it's like you're gonna waste so much focus fire on something that's gonna take so long to die, and by that time, by the time the dragon dies, I'm already breaching a lot of your troops. So that's the reason. And what I'm willing to test right now is the topaz. I want to bring the topaz back. The reason is because if you can see the dwarf formation, the dragon is basically goes to the front of, and with like let's talk about the scale of each dragon, right? The strongest scale is the onyx. because of the increased damage 20%. That's what makes it dangerous, right? So the scale for the Azure is not that much. If you ask my opinion, it's not really that much. Reduce attack speed and movement speed. It's not that much, you know. But I like the Topaz scale because it's like every time you hit it, there's a chance you get damaged by 10% of your HP or something. So imagine like the dragon on the front and all the damage going to him. And the cooldown of that scale is 0.3, I think. So he can potentially bring a lot of damage because of the scale, and along with the other things, because now it's all dragon, I mean hero base the fights. So maybe the topaz is gonna be viable again. I don't know. I am pending to infuse at least, I have my dragon is a perfect topaz, but it's like missing infusion on the pulse and the swell. So I think I'm gonna infuse the pulse first because it brings extra damage, and the other one gives a little bit more damage, but 1% of magic reduction, all of it. I don't know. Ideally, you want them all infused to bless it, but I'm gonna test it when I infuse the pulse. I'm five eggs away from that, so it's gonna happen soon. So maybe the topaz is gonna be top tier again. I don't know. I will have to, but on paper it seems like logically it should. But I think that why the Onyx is dropping down, because the meta is shifting away from the cluster base, and that's, I hope that makes sense.
And absolutely, and I'm excited to see how it goes with the topaz. I fought recently two different people. One, their topaz was utterly useless. It was built properly. Maybe their temple wasn't high enough to make it powerful, or their dragonic. And then I fought another person, and they just absolutely destroyed my whole power side with heroes. I mean, they were still alive, but it hurt them enough where either their Basrix or Jax or Denji was able to finish off everything, and that just crushed me. So it makes a lot of sense, and I look forward to seeing those replays. Random question, but before we continue, if that's okay, say I switch to dwarf, because I believe what is it? I believe it is. I got 2 days until reset. So if I switch to dwarf, can you just send me your formation, and will that work perfectly, or how does that all work?
Oh, I cannot tell you how many people ask me to send my formation. I did to some of them. I spent time to explain to them. But the issue with sending somebody your formation or a formation in general, it has to have a lot of follow-up, because sending a formation by itself, you're not gonna do good. Trust me. Even if you're 7 million core, I don't care how much you're not gonna do as good, because you need to understand why the formation is the way it is. Like if I show you the formation I'm working with, I swear I stared at the formation for so long, and I cannot change a single tile of a single hero. I cannot do that because of the equipment they are equipped with, and the effect and the pathing and all of this, and all of this takes a lot of time to get to that point. So if I give somebody a formation, uh, it might work, it might not, I don't know, but most likely it's not going to be as effective. And a lot of people with a high core, I gave my information to a very high core people, and some of them doing okay, some of them they're not. The reason is because you have to, I mentioned this before, you have to work on what you have. Like, for example, I don't use mages because my mages research is low, and so on. I if you can see, like I don't use any mages, and the only one is probably Ophidia, and now I introduced Raxus because of the lantern. I want the attack speed, and if you can see, the way I built my lantern is only for the attack speed, and the damage is not even the heal. I mean the damage of the units, not the actual damage. So you have to strategize your what are you trying to do in the fight. It's not just put a formation and let's hope I win. Even if you do win, does it even make you feel good. You know what I mean? It's like you have to like accomplish what you are. That's the idea of a game, to be honest. And if you just want to win without uh, having like what is the word, like engineering your own way of winning, and then I don't see there's a point, to be honest, because this is not like, this is just a game. Like at the end of the day, it's might as well just like feel the sense of accomplishment, if you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, a formation. If somebody if somebody asks for a formation, the issue is there's a lot of follow up for this. Like if I give my formation, or the formation I'm using, let's say, to somebody, then I will have to spend a lot of time explaining the gears and why it's like this and all of this and all. So it's not like a small request, if that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, the good thing that you can view people formations now in the dual tower. You can. All I'm trying to say is for somebody that really want to be good at this game in PvP or tower or challenges or all of this, spend time to understand why the things the way they are. That is the only way you're gonna improve, or you're gonna be a better player. Maybe tomorrow you come up with a new stuff. Maybe you change the meta. You know what I mean? And never underestimate yourself as a person. Always aim for the best, not the second best. And I hope this answers your question in a nice way.
And absolutely, and it makes a lot of sense because even just going into dual towers and searching for everything, you can find a replay for any type of formation. But what I'm getting from this is a formation, like the placement, uh, is super important, but it's the bare bones skeleton of it. But where your artifacts is, the pathing, which I don't think some people understand what it is. Others don't because they might not be there yet. It's too intricate. It's like taking apart a stopwatch and trying to put it back together. It's getting a formation is almost like receiving a stopwatch and you have to assemble it yourself. And it can be a little challenging. But I love the idea of being creative and playing to your own strengths. So I have to ask you another question, a selfish one, because I'm mostly just curious about it. So Lich running with a power size similar to that of a sylph and or dwarf. My thinking. It's very hard to fit the dragon in because the scorpions and the skeletons are four deep as far as the tiles. Do you think that the lich with the power side of heroes running with scorpions as like the tanks on the other side for the sol side? Do you think that a turtle is a necessity for a hero side power side, or do you think you can get away with it without having the dragon turtle?
All right, you like I wanted to mention the turtle, but then you brought it up. I was about to say regarding all of the things I just said about the formation. I wanted to give one tip: include a turtle. Like don't never underestimate the power of turtle. Like I have seen people running like dwarf against dwarf without a turtle. Most likely they lose. Like I don't know what this thing about turtle, but it brings a lot. Maybe it doesn't show because it's all dynamic within the game. Like it doesn't show the actual stats, but I mean you can do the math, right? Along with talk, and this combo is still valid, it's still strong, even if your turtle is off race. My advice: include a turtle in your formation. You know, you test it for yourself and you see the difference. And when it comes to what you said about the lich and the power side, that's exactly why I say the sylph, the dwarf is now the current best two races because of the unit size. I was thinking how to make the similar formation with human. That's how much I like it. I wanted to include like horses all the way instead of deers and snipers, the same size as the horses. But and I still think it can be done, but it's just so it's still cluster based. The stall side is gonna be garbage. You know what I mean? And I hope Lilith do something true shot. It's kind of destroying the game. It's kind of making the cluster based races really obsolete. And it's kind of making like if you have a true shard against somebody who doesn't, and that shouldn't be the way. They did a great job to balance all the races, and then all of a sudden they threw all that away with them with something that they probably didn't test. It's a shame, to be honest, because they did up to the latest update. They did a great job to bring all the races to be viable. I know I was playing humans with a Jade dragon, say, and I made it to the top 100. And the last season I was 10 points short, and I made it happen with humans, which is considerably the weakest race with the weakest dragon. It's close to the weakest. They say Ruby is the weakest, but by the way, talking about Ruby, I have also a perfect legendary Ruby that I want to test, but he is level 53. I don't know if it's a he. It doesn't matter. It's a level 53. I'm waiting until it is level 55, and I want to test it. I don't know. Maybe it does something. It's still on paper. It looks not that good, but maybe the Rampage. I was hoping the Rampage brings up the dragon to the meta, but then what's the point of Rampage if you remove the cluster base races? You know what I mean? It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope Lilith do something about this true shot. I mean, I know from my experience in the last 2 years and some that Lilith don't nerf anything. They buff other things. So I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with this true shot, because how you gonna buff it? Right? It doesn't seem possible. So I hope they actually nerf the true shot. To be honest, I hope they remove it. Even though I have it, I don't want. I want the actual challenge. This is kind of getting to the point of being bullshit. So yeah, I hope they do something about it. Until then, I think we are stuck with Sylph and Dwarf. And if you really want to challenge in the dual tower, go for Sylph. Learn the race, learn what they are doing, and how they do things, and probably it is the go-to race, right? And Lich can still work, but you gotta get those dragons fast. Otherwise, you're not gonna win. So prioritize targeting the dragons, doing all the Ophidia snake under the dragon with the pagan curse and all this, and good luck. This is all I can say. So did I answer your question?
You did. So,
Okay, good.
I have one more question, and then I'll open up the floor to
Go.
anything that you want to say, or any like rabbit hole you want to jump down, but before we wrap up. But the last question is the first season of Clash of Fate Championships. Blood Moon was able to make it to the top. I believe it was 32 to 16 teams. This last season, Blood Moon was able to make it to the top 16 to 8 teams. For this season, the third season of the Clash of Fate Championship Series, how far do you think Blood Moon is going to be able to go in this?
Okay, so to be honest, I am not tracking other servers or houses. Like I know some people are so well like connected with others, they know what's happening in other servers. For me, I don't. I don't know what's going on. I don't want to know. I'm only focused in where I am in my house. So I don't know if house is still intact, if you know what I mean. Like if they are still other houses, I mean, they are still challenging and all this. I don't know. I'm not sure. So assuming everything is the same, I don't think we will progress higher than what we progressed before. And the reason is this might, some people might not like what I'm about to say, but I think there is no 100% commitment of players. You know what I mean? I don't want to make our house sound anything negative, but I still see some of core players, they are not 100. Like when I used to, I know we are in quarantine time. When I used to be at my work time, I used to ditch important meetings in my work for Clash of Clans because it's like 4:30 in, I mean 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So it used to hit a lot of my job meetings, and I shift one of the weekly meetings or job into. I hope my company don't see this video. Anyway, really, I don't think they will. I talked to my manager. I shifted that the day from Sunday because we work on Sundays, right? So they shifted from Sunday to Monday because of this. That's how serious I take the game. It's not like, it's not like I'm totally just 100% game. I still balance my life, but if I do something, I like to do it 100%. That's just me. And you know, there is not a lot of excuses not to show up for Clash of, right? Even if you're asleep, like I used to, sometimes we used to register for like 6 a.m. in the morning. I used to wake up, do the Clash of Fate, go back to sleep or whatever. It's like these little things. So until we get the full commitment of all the players, and second thing is the strategy. I think we still don't have a solid strategy. I don't want to give away how our house works. Well, it's an amazing house. I enjoy my stay in this house. I don't think I will ever leave this house. But I have, you ask me a question. I am a very truthful person. I will speak the truth. So we still need to come up with a solid strategy. We considered it. We thought about many different strategies, but we still didn't put one into action yet. So hopefully this change, if we ever gonna progress to the top 6 or top 4 or it is, and as long as we keep doing what we are doing, which is the lovely, healthy environment of the house, I am sure a lot of more people will join us. And as we can see, day by day, month by month, actually, people keep joining us. And you don't need to even recruit for this. Just the purpose of a game is to enjoy it. And our house is a very friendly house. As per my experience, from what I'm seeing, at the end of the day, I'm an outsider who came to this house last year, I think. I don't know how long it's been, but I wasn't primarily in this house. So from my experience, I'm enjoying it. I grew a lot in this house, and the environment is very healthy and very friendly. And if we keep doing this, in the long run, you never know. We might be top house in the game. You never know, really, because all the top players, maybe they get bored of the game. Maybe you never know. I don't know, but I think all we have to do is keep true to ourselves. Most critical is let not just I don't like when somebody confused between taking the game so serious and to actually becoming a dictator in a game. You know what I mean? Like let's find this balance of finding of having it as a game and be very committed and serious about it, but at the same time not serious to the level of putting like making it into a military base. You know what I mean? So as long as we find that find that fine line, I think we're doing good. So, I don't know. Hopefully we make it, but I don't think we will do better than previous Clash of Fates, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And yeah, and anything else you want to put out into the world of the internet before I let you go?
Ooh, I mean, well, I think everyone is experiencing a very historical time, a very strange time. I don't want to go deep into the whole pandemic thing, but because it's in our faces everywhere. So the least you want is to get it in your face while you're watching Art of Conquest video. You know what I mean? But all I want to say, very minimal words. Please, everyone, take care of yourself, stay safe, and nothing more important than your life. So stay safe, take care of others, take care of yourself. That's all I want to say.
Well, thank you very much, Toby. So meta changes, dragon changes, race changes, um, everything changes. The only consistent thing that we'll ever face in life is change. And the most, if you look at species and organisms, the ones that survive are the ones that can adapt to change the fastest. So Art of Conquest is changing. The True Ruby has changed the game. It's that single thing has changed the entire meta. It's changed the primary dragon selections, as Toby described. So we have to be able to roll with this and figure out what we're going to do now. So it's up to you guys. Go try out new things. We can do exactly what people that we look up to do. Like for example, I look up to Toby, but I'm not going to switch to dwarf and just copy his formation because I would be horrible. But try out different things and have some fun. If there's a race that you've always wanted to play but you haven't been able to, why not do it up? I did that with Rockin' and then switched to Lich really quick. But have some fun with the game. Anyways, before I get totally sidetracked, thank you to Toby. Please spam up the comment section with the hashtag TobyNation. Down in the description of this video and all videos, we have some cool stuff. We have the OGC merch store where you can get cool swagger. We have the Patreon page. We have the OGC community Discord. On the Discord, guys, there's so much useful information. It is set up so well, I can't even begin to describe it all here. But I have a video about how to use the OGC community Discord, so you can look up any item that's in the game. You can type in a void level and it will pop up with the YouTube video telling you exactly how to make it through that. Along with the Dragon Abyss. So if you guys don't mind, please smash the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Take care.